Before we go on with this video, my friends, I can't believe this. Look at Sport TV's post from last night. I didn't see it because, man, I went to bed early and all. 11 hours ago, but man, I'm looking at the comments here. People are like, damn, you have to laugh. Look at Sport TV's post, my friends. More and more in the lead. What's that about, huh? They're really rooting for Palmeiras, huh? The official Sport TV. More and more in the lead. There you go. The little pig icon. The ball is green. Really at the top, right? With Abel Ferreira returning to the bench, Palmeiras draws with Cruzeiro in Barueri and remains alone at the top of the Brazilian championship, okay? My God. My God, this is crazy. The comments are amazing. Kisses. Kisses. Fonsequinha laughing out loud. Vini Esportes, ha. The Red and Black Encyclopedia, a post to gain engagement by provoking Flamengo's fans. That's the only explanation. Danilo Melo sent this here. For those who don't know, math does matter. Because the guys tied, they went to 35. Flamengo stays at 30 with 2 games in hand. Man, that's surreal, man. What a post. I think it was the intern, right? I don't know. Admiral Palmeirense. It's not possible, man. It's not possible. Yeah, the post was already prepared before the game. Layla told them to post it. Yeah, already a champion. Loading. Tick-tock, tick-tock. It's almost time. If it were Flamengo, it would be. Flamengo stumbles and sees its lead threatened. Nothing more to add. My friends, it's unbelievable. And just like this post from Esporte TV, there are other major outlets out there, right? Playing up Palmeiras' home draw against Cruzeiro. If it were Flamengo, it would be a slip-up. When it's Palmeiras, it's just a draw. Still the leader, more firmly on top than ever. Everything is all right. Guys, greetings, red and black fans. This is Flamengo. Today, Mengo has the chance once again to fight. It only depends. That's my fear. When Flamengo only depends on itself, for God's sake, we only depend on ourselves to take the lead. But Flamengo is already in the lead on points dropped with Palmeiras' draw yesterday, helped by the refereeing, right? The 1-1 draw, which should have been a loss. They were really helped. Yesterday, yellow cards were being handed out to everyone on Cruzeiro's team. It was a ridiculous penalty. The Cruzeiro player went for the ball. It's everything, man. Everything. It's against everything and everyone. And Palmeiras managed to get another point. They lost 2, but they should have lost all 3. Anyway, in points dropped, Flamengo has 1 more point than Palmeiras. In other words, if Flamengo wins the 2 games they have in hand compared to Palmeiras, they'll be the leader of the championship. For that, they have to beat Atlético Paranaense today. The last time Flamengo and Atlético Paranaense faced each other at Liga Arena, at Arena da Baixada in Curitiba, it was 1-1. At 45 minutes into the second half, they made it 1-0, and Flamengo tied it up with Everton Araujo, who isn't on the field today because he's suspended. But I remember that game very well. A game where Doronco, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Doronco was working against Flamengo. They made it 1-0. Flamengo went there in 2024 and tied it 1-1 at the very end. So I remember, man, I was traveling with my wife. I was on vacation in Europe. I was in Como, Italy. Como. So there I was in Italy, sightseeing, like the old man with the boat. I was like the old man with the boat, driving the little boat and all. And then I remember that when I arrived, Atlético Paranaense scores 1-0. The internet wasn't working. I was desperate. When it started working, it was already 1-1 for Flamengo, Everton Araujo's goal. So it's a really tough game, okay? And let me say this, nobody needs to get desperate. If Flamengo draws, a draw is actually a good result. I'm being honest. We have to win, paparazzo. The championship is long, friends. It's only the 15th round for Flamengo, not even the 16th yet. 16th overall, but Flamengo is playing their 15th. It's not a disaster if Flamengo ties the game. Okay, guys? A draw. Palmeiras drew. If Flamengo draws, it's not the end of the world, okay? Yeah. I'll even remind you that you can secure your spot at Flamengo's games with Haroldo's Caravan. Here's their WhatsApp. Get in touch with them so you can book it. Rio de Janeiro with ticket included. Flamengo games, ticket included with Haroldo's Caravan. Haroldo's Caravan is spectacular. Since '81, taking fans to Flamengo's games. Club World Cup. And look, Haroldo's Caravan has other games too. Besides Flamengo's games, there are trips. You can book trips with them and you won't regret it because they do. But paparazzo, I found something cheaper here. Be careful, okay? Be cautious. Cheaper options often don't deliver. Be careful because there are a lot of scams out there, okay? Scams are out there. People fall for them if they want. Haroldo's Caravan, man, has 100% approval. Those who travel sometimes paid a little more because it's real. It's true. There really are tickets at Maracanã. For the games at Maracanã, there are real tickets available for you to buy. Included. There's the ticket. It's not like you'll try to get the ticket later. No, there's the ticket. And then there's the Champions League. Everything is all set with huge companies. With the people who are involved. The people are involved in the events. There's no funny business. So that's the advantage of going with Haroldo's Caravan. You won't have any surprises. No surprises. WhatsApp is available. Just reach out. I'll keep it on the screen for you to contact. Let me bring you right away the projected lineup. All the information about the upcoming game. Take a look. We should have Leo Ortiz as a starter in the midfield. That information is confirmed. It's already confirmed. The information is that Leo Ortiz trained as a defensive midfielder. So there's a possibility that Leo Ortiz will be Flamengo's defensive midfielder in this Sunday's game. So the game is at 7:30 p.m. Brasilia time. It's 6:30 p.m. where I am. So my day today is a little shorter. Yours is a bit longer. Mine is shorter. So 6:30 p.m. here, 7:30 p.m. in Brasilia. Arena da Baixada, Curitiba. 16th round of the Brazilian Championship. 15th for Flamengo. Broadcast on Sport TV on cable and premiere on pay-per-view. Flamengo's projected lineup. Malvadão, which people say is tough, isn't tough at all. He just does his part, pays his debts, pays for his signings. There's nothing tough about him. He's tough with his rivals on the field. That's right. If you want to call him Malvadão, I call him Malvadão for that. Malvadão because he gives his rivals a hard time on the field. Yeah, I got knocked out this week by Vitória, right? It doesn't happen often, but it will help later, unfortunately. Not financially, but it will help with the schedule. What can you do? What can we do? We can't change the past. Sadness, right, man? This elimination still hurts. But everything will be all right. We're going to win again. We're going to be champions this year. Look, so Flamengo will likely go with Rossi and Varela. This is likely, okay, guys? Rossi, Varela, Danilo, Leo Pereira, Alexandro, or Ayrton Lucas. Leo Ortiz, Paquetá as the second defensive midfielder, and Carrascal, Cebolinha or Bruno Henrique, Samuel Lino and Pedro. Samuel Lino is reporting in this morning. His son was born and he's reporting in this morning in Curitiba to join Flamengo's squad. Now the absences. Look at the number of absences. Arrascaeta, Eric Pulgar, and Gonzalo Plata are injured. Luis Araujo, family loss. His grandfather passed away. His grandfather, the one who raised him. De La Cruz doesn't play on artificial turf. Jorginho and Everton Araujo are suspended, okay? Atlético Paranaense's projected lineup: Santos, Arthur Diaz, Aguirre, and Lucas Esquivel. Benavides, Jadson, Filipinho, and Leo Derek, João Cruz, Steven Mendoza, and Kevin Viveiros, okay? The coach is Odai Mayanese. Oops, Odai Hellman, okay? Missing players: Carlos Terán and Luis Gustavo injured, Portilla suspended. The referee is Rafael Rodrigo Klein. Keep an eye on him. This guy always hurts Flamengo. Referee from Rio Grande do Sul. Assistants: Eduardo Gonçalves da Cruz from Mato Grosso do Sul and Michael Stanislau from Rio Grande do Sul. The VAR is Emerson de Almeida Ferreira from Minas Gerais. Let me give you some very important information. Today it's do or die for Pedro and for Paquetá. Today it's do or die for them. Today's game has a special significance. Para principalmente esses dois jogadores. Danilo e Alexandre acho que vão para a Copa de qualquer jeito, né? Agora, Today, the game is so decisive. Why do I think Flamengo is going to win? Why do I think Flamengo is going to win today? Why do I have this feeling that Flamengo is going to win the game today? I think today Flamengo has everything it takes to win this game. Why? It's a do-or-die game for Pedro and Lucas Paquetá. That's why Lucas Paquetá should play as the more advanced midfielder, with Carrascal there and Leo Ortiz as the holding midfielder. This information was even confirmed to us. They trained that way, so they might line up that way. And that's why Flamengo should play with Samuel Lino on one side, Bruno Henrique on the other, and Pedro up front. Flamengo will try to set things up so that Lucas Paquetá and Pedro stand out in today's match, since Ancelotti is at the stadium, so he will have it this Sunday. Pedro especially has a great opportunity to strengthen his case for the Brazilian national team. We know that now, tomorrow, Monday the 18th, we have the final call-up for the Brazilian national team, the final list for the World Cup. Yeah, he will be closely watched by Ancelotti at the Liga Arena. The game is at 7:30 p.m., as we've already told you. So Pedro is still competing for a spot. In my opinion, he's competing with Juan Pedro. And I think it's much better. I don't even think there's anything to consider. Pedro has to be called up. Yeah. It's worth remembering that Arena da Baixada has moments that bring back good memories, like Pedro's amazing bicycle kick goal in 2022. And Flamengo is the club with the most players on Ancelotti's preliminary list, with 7 names considered for the final national team call-up. And it's already the team in the world, and Flamengo has had more players in national teams recently. So I really believe in both of them being called up. I think Lucas Paquetá also has everything it takes to secure his spot if he plays a great match today. And with that, Flamengo is the one who benefits. If both of them do well in today's match at 7:30 p.m., if both of them perform really well, Flamengo is likely to win. If you have Paquetá and Pedro standing out, your chances of winning are huge. Do you agree with me? So are you confident for today with Paquetá and Pedro? Pedro, Flamengo win, and both of them standing out and getting called up tomorrow? Share your thoughts. We had the coach of Palmeiras, Abel Ferreira, saying that he didn't hear the boos he got. And I was already telling you guys that things over there weren't going very well. His face, his appearance, man. Abel's appearance, when you look at him, he looks aged, worn out. A guy whose appearance you can really notice. Man, that's tough over there, right? It's tough. It's impressive how Palmeiras is making Abel age. He says he didn't hear any boos. Maybe he should use a hearing aid, huh? He said he didn't hear any boos. Look, he heard them. He did. He didn't hear. He didn't hear.
It was from the section.
But I wanted you to... Good evening. If it was, I said... That's not an opinion, no.
Man, we even played well in the second half. We didn't score.
Look at that. He disagrees with you. That's not an opinion, but information. There was booing Abel Ferreira. Not going to complain about the refereeing? Did you avoid criticizing refereeing at this press conference because a questionable penalty went your way? Because the Cruzeiro player only touched the ball? So you won't complain about the refereeing, right? You didn't use your usual method even when you got help, just to avoid looking bad again. 3 games without a win. Even when you were helped, this time you didn't complain, did you? You changed your method because it was getting too ugly, right? And then he said he didn't hear the boos. Got wax in your ears, huh? Abel's got wax in his ears. Then the guys from TNT and GE showed the crowd booing and cursing. It's horrible. And he didn't hear it, right? He didn't hear it. It was from the section, but I wanted to...
You two.
React.
You don't need to react. If you think the boos are fair and are fine with it, that's okay. I share your view. You didn't hear any boos.
Besides, we didn't hear any boos. That's right. Yeah, Abel, what a situation, huh? What a situation. Yeah. And then here we have Abel making excuses. Abel Ferreira is making excuses about not having won the previous year, saying that nobody wins every year. Man, just imagine Flamengo going without a trophy. They've already won a Carioca this year. Flamengo hasn't gone a full year without a trophy. Even in 2021, when they were Libertadores runners-up, they still won the Carioca. No, they won a Supercopa, actually against Palmeiras. Just imagine Flamengo going a year without winning anything. I think it was in 2023. In 2023, I think Flamengo didn't win anything. Then it was all that craziness. All that turmoil, right? And nobody wins every year. Let's see here what Abel Ferreira said. About this, I say this. When we reach the finish line, it's just important to say that about refereeing. He didn't complain about refereeing this time. Congratulations, he improved. He improved a little bit for one game.
About this, I say at the end when we reach the finish line, I say now, what matters to me when we get to the end, and you'll know the history of Palmeiras and all the clubs, nobody wins every year in a row.
He's saying no one wins every year, so Flamengo won't win. We'll see at the end. A little smile like that, kind of forced, a forced smile.
That's why sometimes I understand your questions. They're very well put. Just do the math from 2020, from 2000 to 2020, and from 2020 to 2006, do the math. So this is step by step. When we get to December, in December, you can criticize me, you can praise me. It will always depend on the result. I know that already. Last year, 3 times, everything was a mess. We're already used to it. That's how it is. That's how it works here.
He said that last year there were 3 runner-up finishes. Everything was a mess. He's saying this. When you're the runner-up, it's no good. It's worthless. Man, it's worthless. Nobody wants to be the runner-up. Being the runner-up really sucks. Oh, but does that mean you did well? But you didn't have, like you like to say, you didn't have the mentality to win. You were missing something. You lacked a bit. You lacked it. The feeling isn't good. Being the runner-up isn't good, Abel. I don't think celebrating being runner-up is cool. I don't like it.
And we have to keep our feet on the ground, to realize the options we have right now, to realize the trips we've made, to realize which players are available, to realize which players are not available, to realize that we have the World Cup squad announcement, to realize that we have a game. This is something else unbelievable. We have another game coming up. FIFA says that the players are released to join their national teams, which is another thing that's really hard for me to understand. Sorry to tell you this, but let's move on.
The rules, you've already complained. I praised you before. You've already complained. Now you're complaining about call-ups and FIFA. My God, soon you'll complain about the schedule. Then you'll say Flamengo. No. Soon you'll say Flamengo benefits from the schedule, and that's why they'll win.
I'm not the one who organizes it. I don't have that authority, but as I said, I can't play due to my calf.
Flamengo, Abel is the team in the world with the highest number of players called up. Go cry in bed. It's warmer there. Flamengo has way more players called up than Palmeiras. What are you crying and complaining about? If anyone had to complain, it would be Flamengo, man. What are you crying about, Abel?
I'm kind of shocked, but if I have to play in this game, I think Palmeiras can register me and I'll play. No problem at all.
What whining, man. What whining. What pathetic whining, Abel. What pathetic whining, Abel. Damn. Complaining about FIFA, complaining about call-ups, that if needed, even with a bad calf, he'll play. Palmeiras registers him, he plays. What a shame, man. And then they asked Gustavo Gomes if Palmeiras versus Flamengo in the next round is already a decisive match. Let's listen here. We know it's a game. He thinks it's not, okay?
I don't think so yet. We know it's an important game, but like I said, I think we also have an important game before that at home for the Libertadores, a game where we can secure qualification.
And Flamengo also plays in the Libertadores, possibly securing qualification. They're already qualified, counting on that walkover, but now they can secure qualification on the field before the CONMEBOL decision, and they can also strengthen their position to be the overall leader in the Libertadores. They need to win. And I think he did well. I think Gustavo Gomes did well when he says it's not the right time. Man, it's still too early. The championship still has a lot to happen. Many rounds, many stumbles from all the teams. Flamengo itself will also drop points. It's part of it.
Playing at home with our fans at Allianz. We also know the difficulties we're having with injuries. We have important players hurt.
Everyone does, right? Flamengo today has, I think Flamengo feels Arrascaeta's absence the most.
It's tough, but that's what we have. We're working day by day to try to improve, like I said, in the details, which made a big difference, like being effective, staying focused in every game. So I think that's it. Now let's think about the next game. And then obviously we also know we have an important game on Saturday against Flamengo, who are also right up there. But I think there's still a long way to go.
No, there's still a long way to go. There's still plenty of time in the championship. But Flamengo, it's not close. Flamengo has arrived. It's not close, no. Flamengo has arrived. Flamengo right now, if they win their 2 games in hand, Flamengo is ahead of you. That's it. So tell me, what's your predicted score for today's game? Flamengo and Atlético Paranaense. Tough game, difficult match. Leave a comment here. I'd love to read what you think. We're in this together. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell. Leave a like on the video. Greetings, Flamengo fans. This is Flamengo. Big hug. Thanks. I'm out.